speak and vote your conscience. Vote for candidates up and down the ticket who you trust to defend our freedom and to be faithful to the Constitution.
It was the diss heard around the world. Social media blew up over the speech given by Ted Cruz last night at the GOP convention. And this was just a crazy speech. Ted Cruz got up there. He had a really, actually a pretty warm welcome. They were cheering him on initially. But then things turned pretty dark towards the end. He had a lot of boos, especially from the New York delegation, which was sitting up front. Very vocal views. And you get the shot of the Donald Trump family as well. But first, let's head over to our political expert, Keisha Carter Brown of Razor Solutions. And she's here to tell us exactly what happened. Good morning, Keisha.
Good morning. How are you all this morning?
We are well. So what happened with this Ted Cruz speech last night?
Well, I think Ted had one plan and Trump had another. It's obvious that they've seen the speech beforehand and still decided to let him go on. So I think what's important here is that both of them are trying to play Russian roulette with this election. If Trump is right, he's going to take Cruz totally out of the party. And if Cruz is right, he may end up on November 9th looking like the smartest man in America. But it was awesome on the floor to hear people just rise up and get upset about Ted Cruz not endorsing Trump. It was crazy watching the teleprompter and watching the speech and Ted not saying anything. People were really upset, but it was a great scene. I'm sure even better on television.
Now, what did you think? Was this a strategic move on Ted Cruz's part? Do you think? He clearly knew what he was going to do.
Oh, definitely. I think that he is willing to put his entire career, his entire wanting to be president on the line just to make sure that he continues to say what he's been saying, that I'm not going to endorse Donald Trump. And look, who can blame him? The man talked about his father. The man talked about his wife. And to come in here and say, I'm now endorsing this guy for president, that's a pretty bold move for him to make. And I think Trump knew it. But we also know that they were on the floor trying to rile people up to make sure they booed Ted Cruz. So, like I said, I think this is a game of Russian roulette. Ted is trying to see if he's going to come out the winner on the 9th. We'll see if it works out. If Trump doesn't win, Ted Cruz may be the smartest man in the world and set himself up for a 2020 run.
Now, this was supposed to be Mike Pence's night until, of course, he was overshadowed. No one's even talking about Mike Pence this morning, but he did speak and he accepted the nomination, but he also threw in some humor. Take a look.
You know, he's a man known for a large personality, a colorful style, and lots of charisma, and so I guess he was just looking for some balance on the ticket.
Okay, so what did you think about this speech?
I actually thought Pence's speech was really good. The only issue is that this whole convention has been more like Bold and the Beautiful or some Old and the Restless soap opera. So everything that they've wanted to be the main thing of the night has been taken over by somebody else. So it's really unfortunate because you could tell that Pence had put a lot of work into that speech. He made fun of himself. He made fun of Trump. He talked about all the positives and the negatives. And I think he gives great balance. It's just unfortunate. No one is probably going to still not know who he is today as they didn't know yesterday just because of everything that happened with Ted Cruz.
And just really quick, what do you think is going to happen tonight?
Well, I think we'll finally get to hear from Trump. We were all a little surprised when he introduced Melania and he had about 2 words to say, here's my wife, let's go. But I think tonight we'll actually get to hear from him. We'll see if he actually follows what the teleprompter says. That's always interesting to watch. I think he's probably going to address some of the things that happened this week, but hopefully we hear some kind of policy or something like that.
All right, thank you so much. Keisha Carter Brown with Razor Solutions Group, and you can follow her on Twitter at the Keisha Carter. All right, so we got a lot more coming up. Pretty interesting insight.